Hello, good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome all of you to this digital Expo Nacional Ferretera event. My name is Javier Garcia. I'm the director of this event, and I am really pleased to be representing everyone in the team, and just I'm here to welcome you all on behalf of the RX team in Mexico. All of us are collaborating, contributing so that this Expo Nacional Ferretera event is also taking place. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. And I think that it is very important that we are part of this event today. You, as exhibitors in Expo Nacional Ferretera, we have three main goals. The very first one is, I believe, to really provide you with a business platform so that you can really promote your brand, your products. It is one of the most important platforms that we can see for this type of hardware industry, electric, safety, construction tools, and everything that really comes together as well. And well, all of this is part of this exhibition, and it is really important for us to be able to offer this platform with international scope. And not only in Mexico, but in Latin America, it is the third top event worldwide as well. And this is a platform that we would like to offer to all of you. And to really improve this platform year after year, this is perhaps one of our main goals. And another thing is to really foster the national economy, to boost it. Let's remember that this hardware sector has been really dynamized. It has been growing really significantly. Of course, we do have a lot of challenges all the time, but overall, we have sustained growth that is very significant to all of us through this exhibition. Really created this opportunity to make this industry even more dynamic is really important. It represents 7% of this highway and specific GDP sectors, about 7% of it. So thanks to all of this market, throughout this whole presentation, you're going to be able to confirm this information. We're going to have a lunch in Mexico City. It is going to be Expo Nacional Ferretera in Mexico City in 2025, in February 2025. And Expo Nacional Ferretera will also continue in September in Guadalajara with the participation of over 1,000 companies with over 25,000 distributors. Everything will just continue as it has been so far, but just really continuing with the market size, with its dynamism. We're going to have this launch. We're going to have information about it that we're going to see later on. And definitely the third objective and the most important one is to really give you all a great experience, to be able to really make everything possible so that your participation is a success. And this is the main goal that we have in this webinar, to really go over all of these relevant topics that you would like to learn and that you have to learn regarding all of that so that it all becomes a success. I think that we're really glad that we're going to be able to share with you. I think that this event is going to be made by us. The experience is going to be made by us as well. And in September in Expo Guadalajara, in next September, well, it's really going to be very important. Thank you so much. And we are now turning 35 years. Yes, it's been 35 years since we have been also just really growing. Of course, the event will continue growing very dynamically. We're just going to continue boosting our economy. And we have had 35 years of sustained success. So I believe that this information that we have prepared to all of you is, we believe that it is going to be very useful and that it's going to come in handy for all of you. And we have prepared all of this information for all of you. Let's continue with a video. So please, thank you, everyone, and welcome. Over 60,000 visitors from Mexico and Latin America. Over 1,100 exhibitors from 11 countries. Three days of business in 60,000 square meters of exhibition area. New demo zone to interact with products. September 5, 6, and 7, 2024. The top hardware event in Latin America. Over 138,000 contacts and networking generated from exhibitors and visitors. In 2024, the hardware family is partying. Be part of our third largest event of the hardware and construction industry in the world. Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today in this exhibitors training for Expo Nacional Ferretera. My name is Francisco Lopez. I am responsible for marketing of Expo Nacional Ferretera Guadalajara. And like Javier just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, I will also be part of Expo Nacional Ferretera Mexico City in 2025. This launch that we're launching this event as part of the framework of the 25th anniversary of our event. And before we move forward with our topics that we're going to address today, it depends on, well, I don't know if you know this, but you're going to have a menu. You're going to be able to choose. There's a button where you can change your language. You can listen to this presentation into English. This is going to be in the lower section. If you are using a mobile, you're going to see 3 dots. You can just choose whichever language you prefer. But let's get into the topic. So you can just submit your questions as part of this Q&A box. We're going to be just really answering to all of your questions at the very end of this training, just so that we can really answer to all of your questions that you will have in this 2024 edition. So next slide, please. Now let's get into the topic. Let's talk about visitors. Who are we expecting? You know this event, you're familiar with it. Year after year, we have celebrated and commemorated a 35th anniversary. It's been 35 years of visitors. You know who are our visitors. You know who is going to be here. You know who are our professionals in the industry. Those who are visiting us year after year in this hardware party that we're going to host in September. In these graphs that we're going to show you, we have information of this is information of the last year. This was a historic event in terms of attendance. Basically, we're talking about nationwide, the whole country, how many people we had around. So about, we have people coming from all over the country. We're also having international participation. All of this is in the Latin American market, Central American market. We're all just really taking part as participants. So we can really tell what's the size of the companies that we have. As you know, most of the hardware store is somehow scattered. You know that this is one of the advantages that we see in the market, because it is scattered and distributed. We have the capacity, this ability of really having this massive distribution all over the country. And the main hardware companies, even though they're focused in the country, we also have them in the largest states of Mexico. They're also part of the exhibition. They're part of our buyers. And many of them are also really part of our VIP buyers elite club. And it's a program where we pay buyers their travel expenses if they have a project or a key, project that it's a turnkey project in general. And this is part of all of the products that you can really get in Expo Nacional Ferretera. So as part of this framework, just please remember that a large part of the industry is SMEs, micro companies as well. You can see this to the left-hand side. To the right-hand side now, let's take a look at the type of company that we have. Most of our attendees are wholesaler companies, the traditional market that are really trying to get here year after year. This event, 60% from 65 to 50%, 1 and 2. Virtually, visitors are wholesalers, and we have 21%. participants. They're all of these manufacturers where we have these turnkey events. People, let's say, who manufacture furniture, and we have large volume as well, pre-designed, and everything that we have all types of hardware, machinery, and they all need distributors or manufacturers who can provide the required material. We have end users. We have segmented them as part of what we're doing. We have all types of persons. We have plumbers, we have electricians. All of them are now accounting for 14% of our visitors. That means that we're talking about the fact that 15 in every 100 persons are part of this industry. We have importers, exporters. Last year, we even created a new question so that we could really understand what was the potential of the market to create their own market and their own hardware store. This is something that was really highlighted in the pandemic. I want to get my own hardware. So all of these persons who are part of the event, they come to the event, they're trying to somehow really launch their own business, and we're just classifying them. Today is 4%. Only 4% of our visitors are really trying to get their own hardware store, and they are not really related to the market. They're not distributors at the time, but they would like to become hardware stores. They are going to eventually become your clients as part of the wholesaler distribution. Now to the left-hand side, we're going to see the graph, the position graph. In this graph, we're going to see the CEO part, their decision makers, their top leaders in the country, and they're also part of our key visitors. And they have this quality, the quality that you know year after year. You go to see the details of all of the positions that we have seen. And to your right-hand side, you're going to see in our records, whenever people are getting registered, you're going to really learn what is going to be the position that they have. And depending on the type of answer that we get from them, let's say if we have department managers or directors, or we're a coordinator, the head of the supervisor, or whatever, then we are going to ask them, what is your role? And then to the right-hand side, you're going to see the position and also the department. Most of them are procurement or sales. This is a graph that in the market sometimes makes us wonder, well, we have a lot of people from the sales department. Why? Because we have, again, a scattered market, micro companies, SMEs, and most of the owners or partners or whatever who work in a hardware store, very likely or most likely they're going to be part of sales, because they do not really have a marketing department. They do not have a procurement department. It is one person who is fulfilling several roles. They have several hats in the company. That's why they are more likely to choose the sales section, because, well, they may even be responsible for procurement, but anyway, they just select sales. We have construction works, security, and the largest part is procurement and sales. So please, next slide. Now, decision making and also procurement at the event. Whenever we make the registration, we ask them, depending on your position, depending on some previous information, we need to really think about the decision. What is it that you're going to consider in your company? What is it that you do that you're good with? 48% last year, meaning virtually 1 in 2 told us that they are part of the final decision-making process. Why? Because many of them are the owners themselves. They have a role, a position that entails decision-making processes. The second graph that we have with 25% of a recommendation rate, it's not necessarily final decision makers, but at some point are part of decision-making chain. This 25% and 48%, if we were to add it up, we have 73% of large or great decision makers, even whether they make the decision directly or if they're the, let's say, the main party responsible for that decision. So 7 in 10 persons attending the event are a key part in the decision-making chain. And just as a note for you, in 2019, it was a pre-pandemic year. 33% of the visitors that attended the event were decision makers. In 2022, 1 year of pandemic, 45% of visitors were decision makers. Last year, we had 1% above that, almost reaching 50% of decision makers. Our main goal in 2024 was for us to be able to increase these numbers so that year after year you can really get the expected quality and to get a return on investment. If we take a look at the right hand side graph, you're going to see that in case you're going to make a purchase, how long this is going to take. Of 100% of the visitors who replied this questionnaire, we have 60% last year were going to buy in the event, at the event, I mean. So they had the last half of the year to get their stock restocked. And over the last 3 months, October, November, December, during the last closing of the year, they had 35% of visitors, of those who had already visited the event. They said they're going to have a purchase, they're going to make it 3 months after that. So we're talking about 50%, 35%. So we're saying that over 80% are part of a chain, not only of decision making, but also they're going to make procurement in the event. So you're going to get in your stance year after year, you receive this, but this year you're going to do a more aggressive filter from your marketing department. You're going to be able to get 9 in 10 visitors with a project. And from that project, they're all part of these decision-making processes. And they're going to make this purchase within 3 months of the event. And most of them are going to do at least more than half of them are going to make this decision. This is the type of quality that we're going to deliver in Expo Nacional Ferretera. You're very familiar with it already. You have already given us your feedback year after event, and for that reason, this is why we're delivering these results. So next one, please. Whenever we ask the question, what is the budget that they have for procurement during this event for these decision makers? Well, you're going to see the graph of the different budgets. We're going to increase from the bottom up to 100,000 pesos, from 100 to 500,000, from 100,000 to a million and above. So if you take a look at this, the color blue is 2023, 1 in 3 persons had up to 100K budget for that event. But after 100K, we're talking about the fact that about 70% of our visitors have a budget that is above 100,000 K. So even though these are small and medium companies, specifically, we are just really working with companies who have turnkey projects or above 1 million. The 30% of our visitors, they do have a budget. They're going to do this in a very short procurement time. And the budget that they have is very likely above 100K. And this is the breakdown of all of this, just for you to be able to get the specifics. So next slide, please. Lastly, let's talk about what do you need to consider? What are your considerations you need to have when you're taking part in the event? No, I'm sorry. Do we have the graph? Year after year, we have the types of products as well. We have some verticals and everything that we have understood. Let's say as of 2019, we have increased the breakdown of all of this verticals. We have hardware, construction, electricity, electric power, screws, and nails when compared against last year. We have 85%. This is a multiple answer. A person can select from different verticals. We have industrial security, lighting projects, painting. Out of the 100% of visitors, 85%, 8 in 10 persons can just really get into this type of hardwood projects. Well, almost most of them are going to get construction, electric products. Most of our audience or public, they're going to look for fixation, supporting clamping elements. 4 in 10 are looking for others as well, such as industrial security and safety, painting and coatings. Well, in other verticals, we have a very high growth towards the construction area. And again, we have screws, fixation nails, supply of different projects. Last slide, please. Now, let's talk about the recommendations for your participation. We have 4 key recommendations for a key participation to have a really good participation. The main purpose of taking part in Expo Ferretera Guadalajara in September, well, the main purpose, and you know this very well, you're going to generate business relationships, business networking with your current buyers, your current customers, or you're going to seek out to and reach out to new customers. You're going to create new links, new relationships, more traditional ones. You're going to create databases. You're going to open new markets. You're going to launch products. You may have a lot of things for you to take part in Expo Ferretera, and not necessarily it's going to be the same for all exhibitors. They're all going to have different objectives. These have been defined. And the second part of this cycle is the exhibition planning. This means how are you going to take part in this event? What is the stand? How are you going to assemble it? We're going to have a product launch, and in order to do so, we need to have material in the stand. We need to have graphs. What are the activities that we are going to have? How can we attract the public, the audience? It is very important to really be active as an exhibitor in any event, not only in Expo Nacional Ferretera, of course. We are a comprehensive solution so that you can also just really just be careless or worry free, or you can be careless as you want, because we're going to help you, and you're going to have a good customized construction of your stand. We have some pre-manufactured stands. RX Solutions is responsible for that. We have Alejandro Yarza. He can provide you with further information in case you would like to buy a stand. And just really, honestly, just stop worrying about how you're going to do it. Just one day before the exhibition, you're going to get your stand. One day before the event, you're going to just place your product, and you can just stop worrying about how to do that. And the next step number 3, are the objectives and strategies. Well, you already know what are your goals, your objectives when you are there in the company. Now, with the marketing teams that we have, what we are working on in a collaborative way is to really understand what is the public that we are bringing as Expo Nacional Ferretera to you. Who are you going to tackle? What is the target audience that you would like to address? I'm going to show you some trends, market trends that we got from last year. Who are we attracting in Expo Nacional Ferretera, so that you can really reach your target audience based on these objectives, and for you to be able to really have this communication strategies to define some materials that you're going to participate with, and everything that has to do with your website, catalogs, um, business cards, materials, or handouts and leaflets and all of that. So everything that you need for an exhibition. Now, extra information, just please bear in mind that in your participation, you're going to have a digital directory. In addition to the exhibitor catalog, you're going to get a digital catalog in your website. You're going to be able to get your information, your logos, and in this section, visitors, once they are, well, we have expoferretera.com.mx, and you're going to see that we already have in this exhibitors list all of this. I will invite you to just really get information from your products if you have contact information, because this is the information that we're going to share with everyone. So last, all types of, let's say, you're going to send invitations to your clients just so that you can really find them. Just bear in mind that a lot of your clients are part of the event, and you're going to have a pre-created schedule. So again, this is an event that is very complex to navigate. We're talking about over 1,000 brands that are taking part, 60,000 meters of exhibition. We have a demo area, we have different areas, and this navigation is very complicated. Visitors are already familiar with this navigation part, but it is very important that you can help your clients and everyone to reach your stand, to really create some agendas with other clients so that you can have a good navigation in your event. And lastly, after the event, it is also important that during the first days, when you have good memory, well, it's good that you can just reunite with your team, meaning you can just really reconvene and to talk about, well, you're going to have some sort of ROI, just so that you can consider this in the long term, in the short term. Just to wrap it out, well, many of our clients are just really helping us with this, not only in terms of understanding the significance of being part of this type of events, such as Expo Nacional Ferretera, to really estimate the investment that you're going to have, how much time you're going to devote to all of this versus the ROI. You're going to be able to tell the great value, the high value that this has, such as in Expo Nacional Ferretera. So I'm done with this, and I would like to just really just help you out with all of this. We're going to have many other presentations, and right now I'm also going to be available during the Q&A section. And well, you're going to have a Q&A button at the very bottom of the screen. Just please submit your question throughout this whole training session, and we're going to be able to see it as well. Absolutely. Thank you, Paco. My name is Lisette Michi. I am responsible for the Club Elite part as well. And let's talk about this program. This is an RX exclusive program. And the main purpose is to create some business relationships with qualified buyers and exhibitors. That means that we connect people who would like to make business. How do we create these connections? Well, through these two main activities. The very first one is our one-on-one appointment part. We have an agenda with 8 meetings, and we have some activities that are part of networking. These are sponsored activities. They could be either lunchtime or any other things, and you can have also some contact with other people who are part of the program. We're just really looking for decision makers, person who are just really interested in learning or getting to know new vendors. They have a need of services solutions that you can sell in the event. Next one, please. Thank you. We have some other profiles that we're looking for. We're mainly focusing on decision makers, owners, general directors, managers, procurement, projects, and some sectors where we are mainly focusing. There are hardware stores, construction companies, wholesalers, importers and exporters as well, all types of electric power as well. And in our business meetings, we're going to talk about this particular meetings. We're going to talk about these 3 days of event. We're going to have a Club Elite launch, and every meeting has a 25-minute edition. We're going to have 70 buyers. They are divided 20 national and 15 Central America. We have companies from the Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua. And with this activity, you can also join us in really finding new buyers who are interested in creating new businesses and getting new deals. Please, let's get into the next slide. So in this case, our guests have a different badge. They also have a different lace surrounding the badge. They have a different cord in a different string so that you can find them, unlike visitors. In case you would like to just really address them, you can just really get them, and we would like to invite you to really connect with just your contact person so that you can really get into more information, and so that you can also have a good experience in this case. That's all I have to just really share with you. I would like to pass the floor to my colleague from content department. Thank you so much. Good morning. Like I mentioned, my name is Alejandra Barretos. I'm from content. And let me talk a little bit more about what we're going to be doing in the demo zone. So even though This is something that we did last year. We're going to have more possibility, and we're going to do this through the participation of Walter Alvarez. I think you know him as the toolbox. Many of you have seen this, and he's an influencer in the social media. He just really makes he shows also market presentations in the market as well, and exhibitors as well who are also taking part in this demo zone with 100 square meters. And they're going to have the opportunity that Walter Alvarez is going to show off some of your products in an activation lasting 20 minutes. That activation is more likely going to get this area as well. So these activations as well are going to last for 20 minutes, and they're going to just really be all over the social media. And we expect to have this scope, and we are going to really have this Empedia device. Well, everyone who can join us as well. If you have any questions on these activities, well, we would like to really ask you. We can ask the sales executive as well. We expect to see you. And I will pass the floor to Samara. She is from customer experience. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us in this training. I'm really happy just to be here with you, just to continue planning. Okay, so we have customer experience as well, and this is the support that we have. Our exhibitors as well. We are the main contact of the exhibiting companies to provide them with support, accompaniment throughout this whole event, before the event, during the event, and after the event. Before the event, well, any questions on the manual, just how to fill information, disassembly, any questions that you may have, additional services, everything that takes place in the assembly part, well, you need to share that with us so that we can help you solve everything as soon as possible. Then after that, after the event, we're going to help you with this Empedia, with this application, so that you can really collect all of your leads. And that's why we're here for. The customer team, this is myself. Some of you have had contact with me already. We have our colleague Brenda Martinez. We have Ariadna Rivero as well, who is responsible for international exhibitor as well. She has been in contact with you via email and via WhatsApp. And this is their contact information. We have QR codes. I believe that you have them already. So in case you would like to scan some of them, you can definitely do that. We're going to give you some seconds for you to be able to do all of that. All of you, well, I believe that you have all just been doing this. And if you have any questions or comments, that's the information that you will get. Now, next one, what are the means of communication that we have to contact you? Number one, we have email. Number two, WhatsApp. We even really send a WhatsApp to you just to ask you whether you can take the call or not. We have two WhatsApp groups, and we have some WhatsApps as well. And I know that you're here, so it's really optional that you're here. We would like to recommend this. We have some date pre-collection, and we do not send everything, right? Like a lot of information every day. No, we just try to just somehow be very careful with that. If you're going to get a QR code, this is a QR code that we have this. This is brand new. If you're going to get your assembly company, please just share this QR code so that your assembly company is just part of this group. And what else? We have this assembly, and we have the WhatsApp group as well, exhibitors. And what else? We have the QR code specifically for all of these stand groups, these QR codes as well. We have this information, and well, you're going to get all of these QR codes. What else? Let's talk about the activities prior to the event. We have some limit days. In reality, these do not change against the dates that we have last year. Before that, we have the exhibitor's profile. This is the commercial information that you have in the platform. In a few moments, we're going to show you how to do this. This is up to June the 12th. This is very important that you do this. This is a top limit, and I really suggest you to do this as soon as possible. Brenda and myself, we're going to do this as well. We're going to really communicate with you so that you can really fill this as soon as possible. We have the exhibitor list. It is already available in the list. So you can really see your brand, your products, and it is very nice and good that you have it available. And also so that you do not miss a deadline, your company's logo. It is very important that you can submit it to us, and you can just confirm as well that you have it June the 19th. Then we have another part that is very important. It is related to the stand documents as well. So all of those of you who do not have really retain our companies or our X solution, then in that case, please provide us with the documentation, let's say vendors with the measurements and also the different insurance policies and DRO. And later on, we're going to talk about it. And also, you need to register your stand supplier or vendor. Why is this important? Because we will have communication with them so that we can send the manual to them, their times, recommendations, and the general rules of the event. So in addition to that, this year, we're going to have a special webinar for the assembly part before, after, and during the event. So it is going to be easier if we just get the registration of your vendors, stand vendors, so that you can really learn more about all of the details in terms of assembly before, during, and after the event. There's another part that it's very important, additional services. Please get the services 1 month before your event, and also you need to also get the exhibitors batches before August the 11th. And our suggestion is to have everything ready. Just get into the details, just check whether you have registered the vendor, if you have submitted all of the documents. These are the internal documents, as Paco already mentioned this. Why don't you just really make just really detail all of the information of the event. We're going to be addressing some dates, some details. Next one, please. This is what I was telling you. This is another important date. That's the assembly webinar. We're going to just share either rules, let's say living and tips, recommendations. And it is key that all of the assembly companies join us. This is we strongly suggest this. This is a QR code that is going to take you. So my suggestion is that you do this as well, because you may get a register. You're going to get some notifications just for you to remember this date. That's the QR code. This link again, you're going to see this in the exhibitor's manual. You already have it ever since the manual was launched. So we wanted to really talk about this, and we believe that this is going to be very important. It is very important in this webinar. You have all of the information and what is the recommendation. Where can I leave? Can I do this? Can't I do this? Can I assemble this or not? We're going to address all of those topics. My suggestion is for you to have exhibitors and assembly companies, because sometimes they have their own stand being assembled. So it is very important that everyone attends this webinar. For that reason, what is included in the space that you got? We have a rug only for those in Jalisco area. You can just request it before July 24th. You have electric power, a double outlet for 9-meter exhibitors or less, or 9.1 and above. It's 2 contacts. That's the limitation. In case you need extra contacts, you need to get them in advance. We have the exhibitor dashboard. That's a basic one. Later on, you're going to talk about how this is done. And well, this is the list that you have of exhibitors in the website. We also have the logo in the printed catalog. It is black and white for renewed ones. And also we have a different color for new exhibitors. You can just really get your color logo so that you can get it in the printed catalog. You can just need to contact your sales contact or either myself so that you can do all of this. And then we have exhibitors who have some signaling as well. You're going to really see how these are new exhibitors. This is what you're going to get in your space as well. Next one, please. So who is going to, how and where are you going to get this extra services. I mean, you're going to get all of this information in the manual, but I just wanted to make this extra comment. We have Expo Guadalajara. That is the exclusive vendor, and it is mandatory that you retain the following services with them: food services, also all types of support points of support. If you're located in a location that is not Salon Jalisco, you're not going to be able to get this. Now, Wi-Fi and internet connection, it is important that you get it with Expo Guadalajara. This year, the facility told us that you're going to get an open Wi-Fi that you are going to be able to find whenever you are at the venue. Of course, it is going to be for free. However, it is very important that you take into account that this is just for basic purposes, maybe WhatsApp. And since this venue is brand new, because of the capacity, we may find or encounter some issues. But this is not for your computing devices or terminals and that kind of things. Please do not trust it. It is not going to really work for that purpose. The Expo Guadalajara internet is pretty basic, and it's only for instant messaging, IM. And it is very important that you also consider this for your whole stand, just to get your Wi-Fi if that's the case. And also we have extra power, triphasic, biphasic, and you're going to be able to get that as well. We have the official vendors that are optional. What does that mean? That you can get the services with our own vendors or with your vendors of choice. We have whether furniture, travel agency, interpreters, stand design. You can do that with us, our X Solutions, or with any other vendor of your solution. Or as Paco Lopez was mentioning, part of just really being able to get this direct solution stand. Well, I mean, you're not going to have to just really get all of the documents. You need to define all of the standard design. If you did this with RX solutions, you can just really take a look at the safety that we have for all of these extra services. Our suggestion is that 1 month before that you get to really do this hiring, you're going to have a preferential rate with Expo Guadalajara. With other vendors, it is going to increase. And if you do it during the assembly part, well, maybe the price is going to increase. And secondly, well, we're going to really insist on the fact that we're going to have this early retention, or we're going to get early hiring. We're going to have the venue doing all of this. If you get there, if you do some sort of, well, contract, well, I know that it is going to just also, well, this is going to have an impact on the Expo Guadalajara vendors that we have. So please, I would like to ask you to just really do this beforehand so that you have peace of mind that your services are going to be placed in due time and form, and that this does not affect. And if you have this type of hiring at the site, then of course this is going to affect. However, we would like to consider that this service is also going to help us, and it is very likely that you're going to have this installation, and this may also have some sort of impact as well. And just please be very careful at least 1 month in advance. I would like to recommend you to do all of this. And we have two more services. They are the customs agency as well, and this is going to become a suggestion as well. We have our official vendor. Why do we ask you to do it with them? Well, we're going to do it with another person. However, they also have all of the knowledge of the venue, and you are just going to really, we know that the delivers your merchandise. So what would happen if you do it with another messaging option? They can ask us, okay, can I hire this or do it with another person? Yes, but you need to consider that your committee cannot really get the product. It is a very large venue. At some point, we may have DHL, and maybe they do not know to whom they're going to deliver. It is a very huge venue, so the part of logistics part is going to be very complicated. So we would like to ask you to, let's say, get all of these local vendors if possible. If you have international vendors, that's okay, but just do everything beforehand. We have another part. We have forklifts. Sometimes you need to have some sort of forklifts as well, that you can have things, let's say, in your stand. And it is important to take into account that this service is exclusive. We have another option. We have a forklift, as well. And let's consider all of this. I have my own forklift. Yes, I mean, there's something that you cannot do unless you do it with Expo Guadalajara or night team. Now, what happens with the process of stand approval as well, so that you can get the pre-authorization letter? This is for all exhibitors except those that are retained with the committee. Let's say you can have some sort of a stand design. All exhibitors, even if it's very, very simple, you need to have a civil liability insurance policy. You also need to register the exhibitor in the stand, and you need to submit information. You need to also submit your information, or also to share it over the portal. Who need a DRO, like we were mentioning? Sometimes we are asked, okay, I'm in a first floor. Do I need to have a DRO? No, only in case you need some sort of um some elevated areas, for instance, where you need some pallets or some platforms as well. They're applicable as well for double floors, platforms, and we have larger dimensions, 6 square meters as well. This is very important. All of those who are part of this industry, they do need some structure that is made by a very specific forgeman in general. And well, you need to register your vendor. Item number 2. The committee is going to get these documents. They need to validate that this information is right as well. And then they're going to get this pre-authorization letter and access to all of this assembly and with all of the details of that assembly. So it is very important that you really collect that information, that you can start doing all of this, and that you can provide this to us before July the 24th. Our deadline is July the 24th. So our suggestion is to please just continue defining your stand designs so that you can really meet the deadline. That would be very important. Item number 3, if everything is right, once we review the documents, then we're going to submit your approval later. So please help us meet this deadline. Talk to your assembly companies, ask for all of this documentation, and submit it before June the 24th. So now the authorization letter, this then, so that you can really get here. These are some approval letters, and they're only pre-authorization. These are subject to on-site parts as well. And many times we submit this letter. If there's some sort of safety issue, well, we may just really come close to you. We can say this is authorized. We can see that there's a risk. We as a committee, well, you're going to get close to the stands. This may be dangerous. You can do this or that. So it is important that you take a look at this beforehand, and it is important that you know that we're going to make a very thorough review. This is because of a matter of safety. We're mainly interested in your safety, visitor safety, of all of the persons who are part of this venue. So for this reason, we're going to validate that stands are properly built, that they are compliant with all standards in the manual. Same thing for double deckers. If you have 2 levels, it is even more important. We need to be very, very mindful with assembly companies. Many times, assembly companies need to recycle their structures from previous events for DROs, structural changes. This is not possible for that reason. Please help us with this. If you have any questions, please just let us know, and or just ask your assembly company to just really ask us, so that you can just really have it all properly assembled. And what happens if you got a design and you are with our X solution, or the organizing team has this stand? The exhibitors that we retain, they do not need to submit any sort of documentation. This process is done internally. We have this RX solution, we have these documents, and then we review all of this. We have vendors, DROs, policy, and we do all of that internally. This is like the plus. Just if you are going to really engage with RX, you're going to do this. So I'm going to share this with my colleague Ari. I'm going to share my screen so that we can talk about how to get into the profile, how to fill out your information. So there you have my screen. This is the Expo Nacional Ferretera website. It is very important that you join this website. In this website, you're going to see the floor plan of the event. You're going to be able to find your stand, the measurements, who are your neighbors. Right now, I'm not going to open this. What I want to show you is the exhibitors part. If you click here, you have an icon. It says I'm an exhibitor. You need to enter this part, and then you're going to get into your profile and your portal. Basically, this is a platform where you can fill out your forms. You can just really register. Basically, you have to click here where you have login, and then you're going to come to this website where you need to enter your username and password. This is the email of the main contact. If you do not know this yet, you can just join the customer experience so that they can help you. I have it here already. I have it saved. I have my password as well. If you do not remember your password, you can just click here and then you're going to get an email. I can click on start session and then you can really get into the main website. You can get into the home with the exhibitor so that you can see all of the manual information, where to fill out the profile as well. So we're going to load this. So this is where we just need to get your username and passport. And once at the home, you're going to be able to see just the profile. You're going to be able to see the edition for warehousing of the different hardware companies. So you have a location in Jalisco and Guadalajara, and you can just really find the other company. And if you click here, automatically, you're just going to get into another profile and portal of the other brand and company. As a matter of fact, well, we have industrial safety as well. You're going to find here that we have industrial security as well. This is important for those exhibitors who have different brands or more companies, or only one of them is just managing all of this. We have a company. All of this has been already written. We have this profile. You can just join here and enter this part so that you can just start doing all of this. And then, well, my suggestion is just for you to be able to do all of this. This is going to be smaller. My screen is going to be smaller. Over here, you can just fill in some sort of a picture. You can start just describing all of your stand. And it's very important that you really get all of this. It was created so that your brand can have this presence, so that you are more prevalent, as well as Paco was already talking about, that you can just really just join and do all of this. And then we can talk about what are the products and services in the company. And then well, we're going to have more recommendations. The more you fill out the information, the better. More specifically, because since we have so many things, maybe the deadlines, you may get lost in them. I know that you already have this information. Why don't you do it already so that you do not miss the deadline? That's better, so that you can be present in the list. You can be included in the list. So just load your documents, and then you can just load a product gallery. And then very important part, this is the only thing that I'm going to fill out. You can edit the name that you have here. If you edit this is the name with, well, you and your company are going to be listed in the printed catalog. This is your commercial name, and this is a name that may not be the right one. You have this, you have your corporate name. I have Expo Nacional Ferretera as a name, for instance. That's how I want people to find me. I can just click on save. And this information is exactly how I'm going to be on the footprint, on the map, and on the directory. Sometimes we have noticed, and whenever we see that, we have noticed that you just leave your, let's say, your corporate or legal name, but we want your trading name. So let's go back to this hub exhibitor center where we're at first, at the very beginning. We have Empiria as well. And if you click in this Empiria icon, you're going to be able to find your access code. we're going to, yes, send an email one day before that, but you can just really find it. That's my mail. But whenever you get into your profile, you're going to be able to see your email. So it's very important that you see this already. You're going to be able to download the leads that you start to collect in the expo, and then you're going to be able to select some documents as well. Right now, I cannot select any of them because these documents that I selected, they are part of the documents that I submit as part of the exhibitor's profile. If I had a document, I would just click it here and I would click on add. And then all of these documents that you're adding here, you're going to just really submit them to the leads. So it is very important that you find your strategy. You're going to just release, upload some of them, and then you're going to get the leads that you got in your company. And then we're going to get some customized questions. So I would like to ask you, so what is it that I do not want my team to forget asking to my leads? Let's say I do not want them to miss this. Okay, once we're scanning a lead, I need to ask them, what, from where are you? What is the region you're in? What is your position? Something that you would like to learn from your leads. It is important you customize these questions. They're close-ended questions, meaning you need to select options so that you can also plan what are going to be the questions that you would like to customize so that your whole team can really see them as well, so they can see the leads, and then they do not need to scan it and then to get a notepad after that. No, you can do all of that through the Imperia application. Obviously, once you download all of the information, you can do this here. You're also going to get this information with the questions and answers that we got from the Elite vendor. So let's go back to the Exhibitor Center, and let's also find part of the dashboard. Over here, well, this is not open yet. This will be open once we just have it available. This is going to be available in June. You're going to see the metrics on how this visibility of your exhibitor's profile is going to move forward in your profile. You're also going to be able to download these leads, and you're going to be able to see how many recommendations you had. And this is useful before the event. You're going to see how many visitors viewed your profile, how many of them interacted with your brand. You're going to be able to check how many persons visited your stands based on the real-time scan. And after the event, you're going to be able to check the metrics of the potential customers and the digital participation. So this is very, very important. It is very, very important to start analyzing the data that you have. If you are here, if you join this part, you're going to learn this. Once you open the visitor registration, we're going to see how many have been recommended, and you're going to be able to see the leads as well. You're going to be able to see the metrics. So it is very important that all of this is available in the exhibitor dashboard basic. If you would like to get the pro with more metrics, you can just really talk to the sales executive so that you can really learn what is the cost and that you can get it. And I would like to repeat, so that's 3 months before the event, so that you can also just continue reviewing all of this. You need to just really make whatever adjustments or edits you need in your profile, how many visits I've had, and this is why I may not have that many recommendations. Let's get into the exhibitor center site as well. Where is the exhibitor's portal? Over here, you're going to be able to see the manual. You're going to be able to download the English and Spanish versions. You're going to be able to just really include your stand information. This is mandatory. You're going to see the deadlines of your tasks, status, if they're mandatory or not, if they're optional. And right now, I'm just going to open 2 of the stand information. Again, I want you to just continue filling out your information. Please, over here, tell us who's going to build your stand. You, RX, yourselves, an assembly company. If you need a rug or a carpet, if you need a second deck on your stand or not, you need to let the organizing committee know this. And if you're going to have heavy machinery, This year, we're also reinforcing that we want to learn whether you have more activities, more demos, more product activities, so that the committee can just really approve everything that you are telling us. You can select this and just really send the information, and then we can just really have the render of your stand, the policy, or the DRO, or via email as well as you have done it in the past. Now I'll go back so that I can show you where you're going to just start registering your stand vendor. You can click here, you can open a form, and here we have a questionnaire that you need to fill. Just please take into account that this is before July the 24th. And well, sometimes we're asked, okay, the exhibitors list is here, and you're going to be able to see, let's say, oh, I do not know why the person who is responsible for the event, I would like to see if we have already done this or not. You can check this. You can check whether we can do this or not. And it is very important just for us to be able to get this presence with all of this cost and information. And if you cannot access it, if you have questions, if you do not know who is the main contact person, you can just contact customer experience. And now let's pass the floor to my colleague Ariana. She's also part of customer experience for international exhibitors. Ari, please go ahead. Thank you so much, Sam. Hello, how are you doing? Thank you so much for your time for joining us today. Now, I would like to talk about what we just added recently to the manual. Some suggestions for you to be able to select and choose your stand vendor for design and construction. You need to validate the number of persons that the assembly company is going to have to build the stand. This is so that the stand is delivered in the time and form. To set a date between yourselves and your vendor for a final design. That's a deadline. We suggest that you have a final design by the end of July so that you can submit the documentation in due time and form. The deadline is July the 24th. And bear in mind that the documents that you need to submit are the render with measurements and height and the DRO in the event it is applicable, that it matches the assembly time that is available, that you have references of some projects or their backup of an organization. You have a QR code of the WhatsApp group so that the assembly companies can just join us because we're going to be sharing valuable information in that WhatsApp group. Next one, please. Now, concerning, well, like we said, this is going to be, it needs to be structural calculation and some 6 months as well. Now, regarding the badges as well, all badges need to be registered, customized as well. And with the position as well, just please bear in mind that we cannot repeat just, let's say, same information, same email. No, everything needs to be different information. Please take that into account. Unique information. Thank you. Weapon exhibition, it is strictly forbidden to just use any sort of weapon, knife, or objects or toys that are similar to firearms. In the event you would like to get a dummy, you just need to let the organizing team so that they can approve it. The deadline is July the 24th. The policies, the good neighbor policies, is strictly forbidden that in the dynamics, well, you are just really throwing, let's say, or placing, let's say, keychains or all sorts of, let's say, merch in general. You cannot throw it in. It is forbidden to use mascots, just at least not on the hall, and you need to play music or sounds in less than 60 decibels. In case you would like to have a louder noise, you need to build a room with acoustic isolation. Any exhibitor who does not abide by the policies and rules are going to be punished with the next fines. First, a verbal warning by RX on whatever violation is being committed. A second warning is going to be given in writing to the stand owner. In case of a third violation, then a more dramatic action is going to be taken, such as an immediate fine in the amount of $2,000 per violation, and they're going to cut off the electric power for an hour. Our recommendation is to train all persons that are going to be on the stand on the standards and the penalties, so that we can really have a good performance in every stand and a good development of the event in general. Now, the code of dressing code. At all times while you're in the stand, all participants are required, including employees, directors, contractors, and whomever. They'll need to have appropriate business attire or casual attire, casual business attire. Let's say suits, sports jackets, button and polo shirts, pants. In this event, we do not authorize underage persons. Minors are not allowed. Let's talk about the badge registration. This information is available in page 14 of the exhibitor guide. For every 9 square meters of space, you're going to have 5 badges. You're going to get via email a link. This is a direct link. You can just register your badges. The deadline to do that is before August the 12th. Printed badges are going to be handed over on the site in Expo Guadalajara in Hall 7 on September the 3rd from noon to 7, September the 4th, Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., September 5 from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., September 6 from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., September from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's on Saturday, September 7. What happens if you do not register your badges before the deadline? Well, you will have to register them and request them on site. So now let's talk about the slide that I'm going to share. I'm going to show you the badge platform so that you can take a look at how to make the registration of badges. You're going to get an email by your customer experience, or you're going to get a link. We have a platform as well. We have a reference number. In this case, it is not necessary that you remove information. You can just click on continue so that you can just really access the platform. All right, so here we have a deadline to register the different badges, and we have some recommendations that are very important that you read them and that you can consider them. At the very bottom, we have a tutorial on how to register these badges in case you have questions. In case of questions, you can just contact your customer experience. Once more, we have the information on how to hand over these badges. Please remember that these badges are going to be given personally to a member of your company who needs to prove that they're an employee, and then you need to have the commercial name or the email of the person who made a registration. At the bottom, you're going to see the part where you can just register the badge. You have the company name. You have the total number of basic badges that you're entitled to. And for you to register them, you can do that one by one with this button. You can click that this is an exhibitor badge, the person name, the last name, email. The company, phone number, and position. This is for those internationals who need a visa letter. If you want to, you can just really get it here. You can just click on confirm. And at the very bottom, you're going to see the badge. You have the badge information. We have other options so that we can load this badges massively in case we have over 5 persons. We can just download this template, and once you download it, you're going to fill it out. I'm going to show you the template. Okay, just a minute. This is where we're going to enter the name, email, the company, and the position, of course. We're going to download this and we're going to load this. We're going to see an error of everything that you cannot register in terms of information. So we're going to select the exhibitor badge. Let's just add the Excel file name and just click on confirm. If you take a look at this over here, we're no longer seeing error. Well, there's some errors in phone numbers. They cannot exceed 10 digits and spaces. Okay, let's reopen the Excel file. Over here you can see that the emails are also like this. In this case, we cannot repeat email. This for the email as well. These are just 10 digits. We can load this immediately. We can just really click on load. We can just select the exhibitor badge. And let's just add the Excel file with the proper information. Let's just click on confirm. Let's just wait. Sometimes it takes a while. So over here, we see that the load is right. And over here, we have already loaded all badges with all of the information, name, last name, email, the company. All of them are exhibitor badges. If you have not received the email with this link yet, you can just contact your customer experience contact just for you to get it. That's all I have to share with you. And now I'll pass the floor to my colleague Daphne from operations. Hello, good afternoon. How are you doing? My name is Daphne Telles. I am from operations. I'm going to talk a bit about everything that has to do with stands. And I'm going to be very brief, and I'm also going to share some examples with you of what you can and can't do. Do's and don'ts. So let's start with the assembly part. It is going to start on September the 1st to Wednesday, September the 4th. It will depend on different times. We will have blue areas, green areas, and orange areas, blue areas. You can just start assembling from Sunday for September the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then on Wednesday the 4th from 8 to 7 p.m. And then on the green area on Monday, September 2 and 3 from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then on Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. And the orange area on the 3rd of September from 10 a.m. to 22 p.m. or 10 p.m. And then on September 4 from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Actually, on Wednesday, we're not going to have materials or decorators or tools to build stands. It is only for cleaning. And exhibitors who got a customized design with our solution, they're going to get a notice for the delivery dates and times, or with Jessica Mayeb. Exhibitors who got, let's say, some screens with the organizing team, they're going to be able to enter from 8 to 7 p.m., 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. These are the areas where we're working. In the past, I already shared this. These are in Room Jalisco. They're distributed this. We have the green and the blue area. We have the orange area. That's lobby number 1. And then in Guadalajara room, we're also going to have these 2 areas, green area and blue area. Next one, please. This is also very important. All rooms need to be emptied all days before 10 p.m. except on Wednesday until 7 p.m. only. Please, it is very important that you really plan your times ahead in case you need more time because you're not done, you need more assembly, overnight assembly. You can buy overtime after the time on Monday 2 and Tuesday the 3rd. The rates for this overtime are going to be given on site. They will depend on the stand size, on the required time. You may also need to get medical service based on the assigned or allocated extra time. In case you have further questions, please just join us in the service desk at the site. What is strictly forbidden is to buy extra time on September, which is Wednesday the 4th. That is not possible since the organizing committee works on cleaning everything so that everything is in perfect condition so that we can just do everything the next day. So on September the 4th, under no circumstances, you are going to be able to have overnight assembly if the exhibitor does not finish or the stand does not meet the regulation. The organizing team may just close it or may not allow to finish the assembly. It is also important to talk about the event. As you know, it is from September the 5th to the 7th, from 10 to 8, and from 10 to 5 p.m. So exhibitors may have access as of 8 a.m. to just make up your stands. It is important that you have exhibitor badges as well. Next one. So we are now showing you a map on how you can explain the logistics to your assembly vendors. Whenever you have trucks, you need to go over this open part, and then you can get there. You can just check with the manager what is appropriate, what is the appropriate day, depending on the dates we have, so that there are no debts or no pending amounts, that you can check your unit and you need to wait for your turn. Of course, you need to be very patient. Again, this is a very, very busy exhibition. We have a lot of trucks. You need to wait for your space and your time, and you're going to get an entry um, authorization. This is very important, so you can get to the main entry. After that, we are going to just really ask for some sort of access area, and then you're going to have some sort of access so that you can really join them, so that you can get your time. Once you have completed this, you can go back and you can get your entry point as well. This, every time you need to have to access this, then you need to, of course, go back to that. You need to go through an open exhibition process, and then you need to repeat this if you have further trucks coming in. Another thing, it is important, as you know, we are always concerned for your safety and everyone else's. It is important that you get your personal protection equipment. All persons who would like to get into the exhibition floor during the assembly time, then you need to have your own staff, let's say models, cleaning persons, everyone who is there need to be registered. Even though if they're not building, they need to wear hard hats at all times. This is important to wear a hard hat. That is mandatory harness in height works. Please, if you're going to be working above 180 centimeters, then you need to have it. Also anti-reflectant or reflective vests and a trouser. It is important that everyone is wearing a trouser on the assembly days. You cannot access with skirts or short pants. We would like to kindly ask you to please wear pants. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to access if you're wearing short pants or skirts or dresses. You cannot wear sandals, flip-flops, open shoes. You need to have safety shoes if appropriate, or closed-ended shoes. These are some examples of what you can do, what needs to be done, and what cannot be done. Take a look at the left and picture. You have a person with assembling, person with a hard hat, with a harness, with the proper personal protection equipment. Then to the left hand side, there's a person with no hard hat, and the scaffold is not properly assembled. So this is very unsafe conditions. This is forbidden as well.
So same thing. We are also talking about what cannot be done. You need to prevent accident, use the proper safety equipment. Sometimes we know that this is a little bit complicated to just really get into stairs. And it is very important that you are wearing this. It is strictly important as well. Please, next one. Again, permitted heights in Salon Jalisco is 550, Salon Guadalajara 550, lobby 2 550, lobby 3 3 meters, and lobby 4 2.40. Heights are not really for your stand, but that's the permitted height just in case you have a some sort of banner at the top. So this is a demo of the columns. It is strictly forbidden to obstruct visibility as well. So, well, you need to see we have some areas as well. You cannot strap them as well. It is very important. Let's take a look at the examples of the slide. What are the areas, service areas? In case your stand is in a column, please do not cover that up. We have hydrants, power boxes so that you can have easy access to all of them. Next one, please. My colleagues have already talked about the good neighbor policies. Let's talk about some examples so that they're clearer to you. So right now we're making a demo about the spaces of the different brands that we have. We have different elements that may prevent the visibility of your continuous stand up, or whenever we have some exhibition screens or some areas. If you plan on installing some sort of a smoke booth, well, you have to be very careful with that, and you need to take all of your garbage and all of your residue and waste. I'm going to show you what can be done and what can be done. Over here, we see some elements in some exhibitions. They're outside the stand. This is strictly forbidden. We have some showcasing displays. This is strictly forbidden. And also, you cannot have mascots outside your stand. They need to remain in your stand at all times. All outer walls need to have aesthetical finishing, whether white or black. If there are stands that do not comply with this, may be closed, and we cannot be held liable because of these circumstances. This is an example of what cannot be done. This is a don't. You need to have a full black back. Again, these are two examples. One of them, they're just covering the top and the bottom, and then the rest, the central area, the middle area is just left uncovered. This cannot be done. And then on the right hand side, you have it as it should be. Also, it's important that you're very careful with your belongings, your safety, and the organizing company and the venue are responsible only for common areas, not in tenants or personal property. They cannot be responsible in case of loss or just stolen goods or anything of the like. All exhibitors are responsible for their own belongings. During your stand use, it is recommendable that you have your suitcase, wallets, luggage, or whatever you have your computers. And once you have to leave, it is important that you take them with you. Do not leave them on a counter. You're all responsible for all of that. So material abandonment, well, the exhibitor cannot just leave garbage. You need to take all residue, stand residue, whenever the stand is considered a waste, you need to remove it. You cannot leave anything on the site. If Expo Guadalajara or the committee identifies the exhibitors just leaving garbage, they may charge a fine to the assembly company or the exhibitor. That's why it's very important to just take everything away. Other consideration deckers, I'm just going to talk a bit about some of them. I know that my colleagues have already talked about this. These are these are only allowed above 18 square meters, or you need to do on a case-by-case basis, and you need to have a pre-authorization of assembly in the stairs. Stairs cannot be, let's say, spiral or have straight stairs. You need to have a handrail. We need to have between a centimeter for every step of the ladder or stair. You need to have continuous barriers at a minimum height of 1.10 that you can get protection. Material cannot be glass unless it has proper treatment to prevent it from breaking. You always need to have visible signaling so that you can see the maximum capacity of the floor. You need to have this signals in visible areas. All materials used to build the stand need to be the same that have been validated by the DRO. The structural liability and the floor managers. And once we have noticed that there are some guidelines that do not work, then you may just close it. Next one, please. What else? We're going to have a demo on what can and can't be done as well. We have some stairs. We have some forbidden materials as well. It is also important the materials are in good state as well, and we can just authorize the works if they have this authorization, proper assembly, but if material is not appropriate, if they're, let's say, rusty, then we can just close the works. And then double decker, they have columns, some steel plates, the higher surface, but firm ground. We may not have a column without a plaque because this may be very risky. Next one, please. We can have some other security and safety aspects. The organizing committee and the venue are responsible for a safe circumstances. We know that the staff design may have a safety point or a point of anchoring. Then we need to just really get that in addition for the actually we need to have some, again, some top areas, top banners. We can make some suggestions. Same thing on the left hand side, we're going to have some strips that are just holding this upper banner. We need to have some anchoring points. Same thing. In this case, in consideration of the size and length, it needs to have an anchoring point. So for disassembly, the disassembly times, they are Saturday the 7th, depending on the rooms. For Jalisco room and other lobbies on Saturday the 7th, after 7 p.m. up to 8 p.m. Do we remove product, furniture? This is to prevent losses or theft. You need to take them just on your hands without any sort of, forklifts or other tools. And then after 20:01 up to 8 a.m. on Sunday, you can remove other things in Jalisco. This assembly will just run throughout the whole night, overnight. But for Guadalajara room, it is going to be different. It starts on September the 7th as of 7 p.m. up to 8 p.m. You can just remove during this time products on your hands or furniture. And on Saturday the 7th, then after 8:01 until 9 p.m. you can have the disassembly, and then we can resume it on September the 8th after 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. on the Sunday. Next one, please. These are the two rooms, Jalisco and Guadalajara, so that you can really consider this assembly. That's all I have to share. I will pass the floor to my colleague, Francisco Lopez, with the Q&A session. I think Fran is not here. However, here I am. There you are. Perfect. Perfect. Right, my apologies. You have many questions. Well, some of them have been answered. Let's just go over those that have not been answered. You can just really submit further questions. So are we going to have a recording of this presentation? Are we going to share this or not? Yes. The information that we have in this presentation are parts of the manual that you already have in front of you. However, we're going to have this presentation in the exhibitor portal. Like we mentioned, we have the vendor, the manual, everything is going to be at the very bottom. We have exhibitor presentation. You're going to have the video or recording of this so that you can check it out or share it with someone else. It is going to be there. And as soon as we share it with the rest of the WhatsApp group, then you're going to have it available. Another question, Esmeralda. On Wednesday, the 4th is just for supply. So the stand is to be finished on Tuesday, even if the event starts on Thursday. Then we see that it is on Wednesday, the 4th, no Thursday. So on Wednesday, the 4th, you are very low, your volume, sorry. On Wednesday, the 4th is for credit supply. However, you can supply on the event any further materials 5 and 6 before as of 8 a.m. You can just clean your stand. All right. There is no way to get a permit. Well, in our case, we have a lot of machines that need to be removed with a tool. Right, you need to wait and until the times you may need to take, of course, your the different tools, or even let's say we have a forklift or whatever. We're also being asked, where do we need to fill out the information of the online catalog for visitors? That's a catalog that you were mentioning at first, where you need to fill out the information. You can just go to the Ferretera part. There's an exhibitors part. Maybe we can just share the presentation to you so that you can check it out, or you can either contact me as your customer experience, or Ari or Brenda. You can just write to any of us so that we can do not go back to this point in particular. We can check it out with you, and then we can give you that information. Perfect. I'm going to talk about 2 questions here. I can help you answer them. What is the cost to access Elite Club, and does it depend on how many square meters have been bought? And also Imperial, how can they get it from Imperial? The very first question about Club Elite. This is a recurring question, and we have already answered some of them. So just for your information, you can get it just like many other services, let's say sponsorship and tarps and activations and badges and lanyard and all of that, including data points, let's say one-on-one appointment. You can just talk that with your marketing and developers, and well, you can really learn more about all the activities that you could have, either for brand recognition, launches, lead generation. You're going to have different pillars, to put it that way, and you're going to have them with the executive. Now, as for Imperia, the stands, all of the stands already have, as part of your participation, you have already included the Imperia application. You can just download it. This is for all exhibitors. So everyone has it already as part of the contract. Whenever you use it, you can just exploit it so that you can really scan the QR code. It is protected as well, so that there are no other devices or no other applications. Only the Imperia application is going to help us really check this out and many more things. So that's it. And now limit dates, deadlines to confirm stand vendor information. July the 24th. Both in terms of submitting stand information, vendor policy, DRO, whatever is applicable, and share vendor information. That's on July the 24th. It is important that you can define that as well. Your final design so that you can submit it into time and form. You can submit your documentation into time and form. Perfect, Sam. What else? We still have issues to really get a registration of our batch staff. Can you please help us go over this batch situation? Of course, in the exhibitor profile and portal, when we check the guide and the information, we have a field that it's called exhibitor batch. We had an issue because we were not sharing the screen at the time, but the video has a detailed explanation. It is already uploaded. There's a tutorial so that you can learn how to fill it out. Please go to your profile, and then we have a tutorial video. You click on badges. It's in list number 2 and 3 exhibitor badges, and then you're going to be able to check the tutorial with a step-by-step. It is in English and Spanish. It's got subtitles in English, Spanish narration. For waiters and models, do we need to give them a badge even if they have been hired by with the venue? Yes, it is important that all persons, such as persons as well. Okay, they're all getting a badge. We also need to have the cleaning part. We also need to have the cleaning. So we need to give just water, candy. Can we really buy them directly as well? Well, everything that has to do with food, beverages, you need to join Expo Guadalajara. We have some exhibitors that, I don't know, would like to give some sort of special catering or coffee. Well, you can do that, provided that you can also be with Expo Guadalajara as well, and that you can just really just talk about how many information and how much product measurements as well. And then the venue is going to charge a fee so that you can really give this information. You can talk to the venue so that you can talk about what is going to be the cost for you to really get food and beverage that is not retained by them. So we would ask you to please anticipate all of that and to just submit all of your information to Expo Guadalajara. In the guide, we have an email so that you can check it out. You can just contact Expo Guadalajara and you can just show them what you're going to have as food and beverage. And then you need to pay a fee to the venue and not to the committee. Perfect. 6x6 stands, can they have a double decker? Well, yes. The only thing is that we're going to check your documents. I mean, this is important. This is a matter of, let's say, well, this has to do with safety. Yes, we have. So it is very important. We have to really just really fulfill all of the different requirements. It is very important. And the same work owner needs to be responsible for the structure. We as like part of the committee, we can do all of that. If you have any question as exhibitors, we know that you're not experts in this part. You can just really retain a company. So if you have questions, we can help you out with that. And just if you also want to, you can ask for RX Solutions just to help you out with everything. Going back to beverages and food, I think that this is very important as well. Two persons already went over this part of beverages, and well, sometimes we're asked, We may need branded water that is going to be paid by the venue. Or how does that work? It is necessary, as my colleague Samara mentioned, that everything that you would like to provide, you can just really approach Expo Guadalajara to see what kind of food you would like to have in it or your brand, so that Expo Guadalajara can authorize this fee in case you need to charge for that. I think, Daph, that it is important, or Sam, that we can help exhibitors in case they have not had this contact, so that they can have information with Expo Guadalajara, so you can guide them. Then it would be important to really add them to this presentation as well. So we're also asked if the app, Imperia app, can that be downloaded for more than one person per company? Yes, the apps that you have Imperia, just with the access code, you can download the app. As many persons as you need, 1, 20, or 30. The only thing that you need to do is to use the same access code and name, so that you are the main contact, so that you can check who scanned that. I mean, you can enter Paco Lopez, Samantha Hernandez, or Ari, or whoever, so you can see how many Ari, Samantha, and Paco scanned. You can have as many persons as you want using it. It's important you need to download the app with internet online. Once you're logged in the venue, you do not need to have internet so that the app can work. Perfect. As for that influencer, can you please provide further information? Is he going to be in the exhibition area only? What are the products that he's going to show? Can we hire the influencer, or how is that going to work? So my colleague can answer that. Well, the influencer is just going to be in Expo Forum only. And he's going to be just showing some products of some stands. And also, I would like to add here, just remember that in this expo, we have different influencers, even some brands. As you know, you're part of this influencer project. This influencer in particular, he is also working in the demo zone. And you're going to have this activation in the demo zone. And we have some other exhibitor stands where they're going to have these activities as well. And they're going to be in the floor. In case you have special, I don't know, hiring you with the demo zone, you can take it out directly with your sales executive, so that they can provide further information on any, let's say, cost or whatever, so that they can visit your stand or whatever. We're asked if there are beverages for your own consumption, like for your team. Do we have to buy them through the venue? No, you can take your own beverages if that's for your own consumption. We mainly talk about the fact that they're not bottles, let's say large volume that you're going to be giving away, or that there are a large amount, let's say, of food or some other things like that. I mean, you cannot do that. Okay. We will start this closing today, okay, with this series of questions. Let's finish with the last ones. We're going to need 420. Where can we read it? Well, all electric power, like my colleague Samara already mentioned, you need to get that with the venue. You need to really be with them, and in case you need extra power or above 110. Just to add up to or elaborate further on your question. Now, we have the manual already. That's why we're not really providing everything regarding furniture, the information of Alejandro Yarza from our solution, all of that information, even forms to make those requests. So it all depends on whether you would like to check the list that we have. We have some options. The dashboard as well. So we have also vendor. So also, what are the forms for any requests? So I'm going to answer this question as well. So you were saying that last time you did not have internet on your phone and the MP app was not syncing or was not sensing the leads. Just take into account that we can use the app with or without internet. That doesn't matter. You can just scan as many leads as you want consistently, even if you're offline. They're going to be stored in the app. They're not going to be sent into the cloud. You're not going to lose information at all. So at that point, if you get online as well, if you have information online, if at that point in time, if you're reading the badges, do you lose a phone or whatever, or if you're reading your phones and it was just like that. So what's important is that the app works as well. Once you can just really connect online as well, so that you can just read that online. And lastly, in terms of internet, just please bear in mind that we have thousands of persons at the same time. We have a lot of persons as well. So a lot of persons are online, they're connected online. We have telephone, we have thousands of visitors at the same time during peak times as well. So we do have a lot of failures, signal failures. It is a matter of, let's say, small spacer. This really fails a lot. This is an application that we have so that you can really use all of this. And lastly, we're asked on whether we have information as well. We have other stats and we have some other waiting times as well. Okay, thank you so much. Please bear in mind. So Expo Guadalajara is very large, and you know that they do not have a lot of capacity. This is for this reason that we're sharing this logistics. Is an open exhibition so that you can have them on the docks, but they cannot have a long waiting time. It is very important that you also work with how your sets are going to be built, that your stands are not really assembled on site, that they are pre-manufactured. This is very important so that you do not take a lot of time. When you're offloading material, you're also going to be giving away all of this, let's say, forms, the trucks that will have to do some sort of, let's say, if they have to follow a path, then you cannot just somehow hinder or make or somehow create obstacles in the process of just unloading or floating so that everything is more accessible and easier. Okay, perfect, Dad. Thank you so much. With this, we are done. Just one last one. We have some messages related to this. Do I need a principal so that we can have a modular stand? And that's all. Yes, all exhibitors who are going to build just any topic, let's say, even if it's very simple, well, you have to submit your documentation. Maybe you're going to have a table. You can just really do all of this, even though you have, let's say, stands as well. You really have to have the documentation that we had discussed. Just please follow the information that you have. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, team. So just thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for just having joined us. And I think that most of the exhibitors are still just here. I would like to thank you for your time. We know that this is a very long training. It is a very big event, and your time is really valuable. And well, we're done with our training. So now we will just leave a closing video for you to watch it over. This is a 30-second video. This is lunchtime as well. This is so it's less than 30. It's less than half a year before we are into Expo Guadalajara. So we have been commemorating and celebrating for 35 years in Expo Guadalajara. So this is for exhibitors and for many other things. And we will continue just working on all of this. And in the end, well, you have been working for over 25 years. And just thank you so much for 35 years. And we cannot wait any longer so that we can all meet up together in Expo Guadalajara. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for this webinar as well. And we'll stay in touch. Thank you so much, everyone. So now this largest event of the country is going to Mexico City, 150 manufacturers in thousands of square meters of exhibition area. And we're going to be 3 days, 25, 26, and 27 February 2025.
Expo Nacional Ferretera, Ciudad de México.